I am often finding myself at a complete loss of words recently, as my wife will tell you, not something very normal for me. I like having my own words and I have a lot to say, but I cannot, frankly, believe what is happening right now with the Biden administration. I am going to explain to you a bombshell report that is going to have catastrophic repercussions. A tectonic plate has been shifted now, and it is not shifting back. The world has changed for Joe Biden for the worse, and you will now understand exactly how bad it has gotten. Joe Biden has crossed the Rubicon, as they say, and we are not heading back. And wow, I just cannot believe what I have read. Bombshell leaked messages, leaked phone call from the president himself. Remember this? All Trump supporters will start getting a little nervous tick here. A leaked phone call showing that Joe Biden pressured the Afghan president at the time. Ghani is his name. He is a puppet propped up by U.S. academia. Certainly is not a tribesman or an Afghan that anyone would follow. His children are wealthy Instagram influencers in Manhattan. Just shows you exactly who we put in charge over there. Biden called this man and suggested that he lie to the American people about how bad things have gotten in Afghanistan, and he lie about the Taliban taking over the country, and this is a quote, whether or not it's true. I cannot even tell you how devastating this is for the Biden administration, but not in the way that you think. Not in the way that you think. There is something happening here behind the scenes that you have to be ready for. And we are going to tell you exactly what it is. First, let me tell you just a quick moment, just a quick thing. It is completely free. I would never, ever, ever tell you to do or say or go or sign up for anything that I didn't truly believe in. And all I believe in right now is this: independent news creators, independent creators on independent platforms, free of corporate media interference and censorship, free of the influences that can happen from foreign or domestic nations that limit the information that I can get to you. Please, I beg of you, sign up for this channel. Just subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Just click like on the page and click subscribe. The only thing I do here is give you verified sources of news, and I fuse that news together for you and tell you what's happening behind the scenes. You're going to want to stay for this one because it is a devastating tectonic plate shift for Joe Biden that is having White House sources that I have running terrified, running scared. People in the White House are horrified about this leak, and I'll tell you why. Why should you listen to me? Well, I certainly didn't go to the Ivy Leagues, no Harvard or Yale education. Here, I went to community college and then to state school at the University of Iowa. But I am an Iowan, and I was involved in politics very young. I have had every position there is to have inside of the political world. I have been a campaign manager. I have worked inside of campaigns and inside of PR and messaging, marketing. I have also been on the political commentary side and ledge, and so we are leaning into that. I think we need more smart people speaking out about what's happening now. And so everything from digital media to cable news shows I have had in my life. I am blessed, and I want to share this information with all of you in a way that is raw and direct. I speak with you. This is how we do it, right? I speak with you. There's nothing in between us. Nothing. All right? This microphone, I own this microphone. All right? So, to paraphrase Ronald Reagan, let's get started. Something Ronald Reagan would never do. Indeed, something Ronald Reagan never did. Ronald Reagan would have never been as stupid as to bungle something this poorly. Joe Biden. Let's read from Reuters News. Reuters verified report. 5-minute read. Published 21 hours ago, August 31, 2021. Today is the first day of September. Let's get it started off right. It's 11:48 Eastern Standard Time where I am right now. Excerpts from a call between Joe Biden and Ashraf Ghani, the president of Afghanistan, on July 23rd, right before Kabul completely collapsed. Here we go, guys. Not great for Joe Biden. I'm going to read to you some of the excerpts here. It starts off with President Biden saying he's late. You all know that. Biden says, I am a moment late, but I mean it sincerely. Hey, look, I want to make clear that I am not a military man any more than you are. But I have been meeting with our Pentagon folks and our national security people, as you have with yours, and I know I need to tell you the perception around the world is that parts of Afghanistan, I believe things are not going well in terms of the fight against the Taliban. It's incredible here. I'm reading to you directly from what Joe Biden said. This is what Biden said to Ashraf Ghani. As the country was collapsing, I am reading to you the man's words. We do talk about opinion on this channel. I have opinions. I will tell you when I am expressing my opinion. This is not my opinion. These are the words of the President of the United States to a foreign ally at the time, a puppet proposition leader that we have put in place. It is breathtaking what you are about to hear. This is the exact words of Joe Biden leaked by the intelligence community to news organizations, and we will get to that in just one moment. Joe Biden, and I quote directly from his transcript with the Afghan president, I quote directly from his transcript. As you have with yours, there is a perception around the world and in parts of Afghanistan, I believe, is that things aren't going well in terms of the fight against the Taliban. And there is a need, whether it is true or not, there is a need to project a different picture. Wow. That's fascinating. That sounds like, in layman's terms, Joe Biden asking the president of Afghanistan to lie about what we are doing there militarily, about how bad it is getting. Well. The lies didn't stop. Here's Joe Biden. We are going to continue to make sure your Air Force is capable of continuing to fly and provide air support. False. Joe Biden pulled the contractors. Lie. In addition to that, we are going to continue to fight hard diplomatically, politically, economically to make sure that your government not only survives, but is sustained and grows because it is clearly in the interest of the people of Afghanistan that you succeed and lead. And though I know it is presumptuous of me, on one hand, to say such things directly to you, I know I have known you for a long while. I find you a brilliant and honorable man. But I really think, I don't know whether you're aware just how much of the perception around the world is that this is looking like a losing proposition, which it is not. Not that it is necessarily, is that. Again, I'm reading you word for word what Joe Biden said to Ashraf Ghani. But the conclusion I'm asking you to consider is to bring together everyone from his former vice president and the former president of Afghanistan in between. If they stand there and say that they back the strategy you put together and put a warrior in charge, a military man in charge of executing this strategy, that will change the perception. And that will change an awful lot, I think. Wow. Here's Joe Biden actively subverting the truth. Joe Biden telling the president of Afghanistan, you need to tell the world something different than what is happening, whether it is true or not. How old am I? Well, I was born in 1986. I am 35 years old. I am a father. I'm a patriot. I've seen a lot. And I'm also older than 4 years old. 4 years ago, actually 2 years ago, we were told as an American public that a leaked phone call with Donald Trump and the president of the Ukraine, asking the president of the Ukraine to essentially pressuring the president of the Ukraine to engage in a political action. Now, you can debate me as to whether that was actually political or not. It was to investigate the corruption of Burisma, and that may have been directly tied to the Biden family and their corrupt dealings with the Ukrainian gas company. Now, this is not what this live is about. You may totally disagree with me on that. That's what happened, okay? So those are the facts. Donald Trump in the call said, hey, there's some major corruption going on between the American elites and the Ukrainian elites who run this gas company. You need to look into it. We have the pay stubs from Hunter Biden. There's a bunch of cash being exchanged, and you should check that out. Well, guess what? Here we have an American president who's doing, on its face, a very similar thing. Pressuring the president of a foreign nation, of which we have extreme influence in and on, to do things that is going to save his political tail. I am old enough to remember when this happened with Donald Trump. And so he was impeached, and America was dragged through an impeachment. And again, you could argue with me whether Trump's call was perfect. Trump says his call was perfect. I'm talking about on its face, what are the similarities here? Here is a president pressuring a foreign leader essentially to engage in political actions that will protect his ass here domestically. Now, again, you can argue whether it's the same thing that Trump did. If you're a Democrat arguing it's the same thing Trump did, then Joe Biden must be impeached. If you are a Republican saying that Donald Trump's call was perfect, then and the Bidens are corrupt, then this is this is a red siren of corruption right here on this call. Now, why is this shocking to me? Why is this really dangerous for President Joe Biden? Well, it's really dangerous for Biden because this shows that the intelligence community has utterly turned on him. Why does Reuters have this call? Okay? Now I could read to you the call. Honestly, I suggest that you go to Reuters and you check it out. I could read to you the call. We have much longer transcripts where Joe Biden continues to press Ghani to essentially lie to the world and say that everything's going hunky-dory in Afghanistan. Why does Reuters have this call? I think that is the important next question. They have this call because the intelligence community leaked on Joe Biden. They have this call because the intelligence community is saying, we are not going to hang for this Afghanistan disaster. You, sir, are going to hang for this Afghanistan disaster. This is the exact moment when the intelligence community hung Joe Biden out to dry in a blizzard and a hurricane and an earthquake at the same time. This is the moment when the intelligence community said, oh, you are not going to blame this on us. We are now going to war with you. Now, you may be watching this as a conservative and having panic attacks, saying, oh my, we've seen this one before. Michael J. Fox meme, right? Oh, I've seen this one before, right? Back to the Future. It's a rerun. Yep, you're exactly right. It is. Now, I don't think it was right when it happened to Trump, and I don't think it's right when it happens to Biden. But what I think is right doesn't matter because I am not the president and I have no control over this. So I am going to tell you what is happening. You decide whether you like it or not. What is happening right now is the intelligence community is sick of Joe Biden lying and blaming them. I have here statements from earlier in the summer for Joe Biden insisting, I am looking at headlines right now, Joe Biden insisting that the intelligence community did not predict Afghanistan's fall. Oh, that's so interesting. Because here's Joe Biden, at the same time he's lying to the American people, saying to the president of Afghanistan on a private phone call, holy crap, this is all coming apart. You need to start lying to your people and to the international community about how bad this is. At the same time, Joe Biden is lying to the American people and to our country, saying that the intelligence community is backing him up, that Afghanistan isn't a lost cause. That was a lie. We have multiple reports saying that was a lie, and the intelligence community does not like being dragged down and told that they are not doing their job correctly. Again, you can argue all day and night what you think of the intel community. I know for a fact, because I know people who work there, that there are good people there that do a good job. There are bad people there that do a terrible job. Oftentimes those people float because they're political creatures, reptilian political creatures. They float to the top because they are backstabbers and they end up getting undue influence in these organizations, but there are good people in these organizations. And those good people correctly assessed, as far as I can read, and as far as the documents I've seen, correctly assessed that Afghanistan was going to collapse in a second, like a box of matches, like a house of cards. And Joe Biden knew it, because Joe Biden is on the phone right here demanding that the Afghan president lie. Joe Biden will be impeached for this. As Joe Biden repeats claim that nobody could have known Afghan army would collapse, bombshell transcript from July reveals he pressured Afghan President Ghani to create a perception that the Taliban wasn't winning, whether it's true or not. Wow. Holy moly. I read to you from the Daily Mail. Daily Mail, a wonderful source. Reuters on Tuesday released excerpts from a call between Biden and Ghani before the Afghan president fled. They talked for 14 minutes on July 23rd as Taliban advanced rapidly. Biden told his counterpart of the perception that the fight against the Taliban was not going well. There is a need, whether it's true or not, to project a different picture, he said. Comments are indications that Biden knew it was a matter of time before the Taliban won. In the months leading up to the withdrawal, Biden predicted the pullout would go smoothly. Neither of these two feckless leaders realized how bad this was going. In less than 4 weeks from the call, the Taliban had captured Kabul, and this man had fled in shame. The president had fled in shame. Incredible. Incredible. First paragraph here, just real fast. President Biden wanted the now departed Afghan president to create the perception that his government was capable of holding off the Taliban, an indication that he knew it was only a matter of time before the U.S. ally fell to his Islamic group, and reassuring Americans. Why didn't you get the Americans out then? You had a functional embassy. You had a functional military presence. You had Kabul not in the hands of terrorists. ISIS was still in prison in Bagram Air Force Base. Why didn't you do it then? That is the question everyone in the country should be asking. Why not then? If Biden knew, then why didn't the message go out in the next week? I want every American to come to the airport in Afghanistan. After this week, you are on your own. You should never send that message, but you could get very, very desperate. No American should ever be on their own around the world, but quite frankly, there are Americans who know they're going into dangerous places, and if the administration knew how dangerous it was going to get, then why didn't they demand that Americans leave? Why did they let Americans languish to a point where suddenly the entire country collapses into anarchy? And that is what we have now. Terrorist-controlled anarchy. Now it is the largest hostage situation in the history of the world. Largest hostage situation in the history of America. Incredible. Kayleigh McEnany, you obviously all know who Kayleigh is, former voice of the president, former voice of President Trump. Bombshell call in July, Biden pressured the Afghan president Ghani to suggest the fight against the Taliban was not going well, whether or not it is true. Whether or not it is true. Ghani, Mr. President, we are facing a full-scale invasion. Yeah, incredible. Now you have Joe Biden bragging about how he got 90% of Americans out. Yep, you're right. 10% for the big guy. Remember that. 10% for the big guy. Here's the major takeaway here. The intel community has turned on Joe Biden. They are now leaking on the president. The Defense Department is leaking on the president. The Defense Department leaked to Politico multiple classified calls about how bad things had gotten in Afghanistan. The Pentagon, your Defense Department, and your intel community are all leaking to make Joe Biden look bad. Holy crap. I've seen this one before. I've seen it before. Oh, I've seen this before. Remember that scene out of Back to the Future? The rerun. Here we go. Argue all you want about whether it was right when it happened with Trump. I obviously think it's wrong when it happens to any president. Presidents should be able to trust their intel communities and the people who work for them. It is exactly why I believe the overstate needs to be disassembled and dismantled. Presidents should have trust. However, in this situation, because I think Joe Biden is wrecking the country, wrecking the world, and Joe Biden is a bad operator, I honestly like that we are having this kind of transparency. Let's just call it that. They said they'd be the most transparent administration in American history. They are not. They say that they would release all of the information. They have not. They haven't released the logs of who is visiting Joe Biden. Joe Biden is going back to Delaware for the weekend again, taking another vacation after a long week of 30 minutes of work. They haven't released the logs as to who is visiting him in Delaware. Who is visiting him in Delaware? Is it the people buying Hunter Biden's artwork? We will never know. We will never know. And I have for you one final little gem here. The White House is stealth editing the transcripts of Joe Biden's remarks. Incredible. There has never been such a dishonest White House in American history. These people are so dishonest. Joe Biden's relationship with the truth is so corrupted that he just doesn't know what truth is, right? Lying is his language. It is his native language. His native tongue is to lie. Here's a man who has lied about everything from his education background to his pedigree, to his upbringing, to his family members working in coal mines. Joe Biden lied. It is his native tongue. His native tongue is to lie, to spew incorrect and false information. Joe Biden wouldn't know how to tell the truth. If he told the truth, he may burst into a blaze of glory and just evaporate. Joe Biden does not know how to tell the truth. And his White House is taking a cue. We have never had a more dishonest White House. Here I can show you the White House transcript. Incredible. It is remarkable. A White House transcript that includes actual corrections inside of the transcript where they had to go correct the record for the president. I can show it to you right here. The White House. The White House transcript. The yellow highlight is them saying they're going to correct the record. And they're going through and correcting what Joe Biden is saying in the historical record of what the president said. Because Joe Biden lies so much, the White House has to go back through and yellow highlights the bottom line, 90%, 98%. So the White House highlighting and changing the words of Joe Biden because he lies so much. His own White House has to go back through and correct his lies. Breathtaking. We may have to do a full video on this. But for right now, guys, I appreciate you sticking with us through this live. It has been an up and down. It is pouring right now and storming in Tampa. My house lost power for a split second there. And thank goodness we have a generator because here we are back online. Last little thing to put a pep in your step. New presidential daily tracking poll from Rasmussen shows that 42% of U.S. likely voters approve of Biden's job performance. 56% disapprove. Latest figures include 24% who strongly approve of Biden, what Biden is doing, and 47% who strongly disapprove. This is in a presidential approval index rating of negative 23%. Negative 23%. Remarkable. Remarkable. After everything the media has done to lift this man's boat, after everything the media has done to fill this man with all plaudits and praise, it is just legitimately, the Communist Party of China, state media, North Korean media apparatchiks look on and wonder at how the American media fills Joe Biden's coffer with fake, needless, absolutely meaningless praise for doing nothing. And yet, check it out. Look at that. Look at his approval. That's his approval and disapproval. Look at that. And yet. Whew. Whew. Man, that is major bad. That is major bad. We may have to do a special on that. We'll dig into the numbers here. Anyway, thank you all so very much. I really appreciate all of you watching and sticking through a technical glitch on the channel. As you can see, we are building out a full studio. We're building out a full show. We have some really exciting things that we're going to be launching here very soon. Very exciting products that we look forward to bringing to all of you. And the fight for freedom never ends. Thank you all, Patriots, for tuning in. God bless you. And we'll see you back here live later today.